Hi and welcome back to my channel. In this video today, I will be showing you how to do a seamless repeating pattern in Procreate. So I'm using my iPad Pro, the 10.5 inch, with a first generation Apple Pencil, the app Procreate, and brushes that are available in Procreate. Head to Procreate. In the upper right hand corner, click on the plus icon. That allows us to add a new canvas. Since we're doing seamless repeating patterns, we want our canvas to be a square. I'm just going to pick the square option that's already available in Procreate. It's sized at 2048 pixels by 2048 pixels. So for the seamless repeating pattern, we're doing the diamond method. So first we need to draw our diamond. In the upper toolbar, I'm going to click on the brush icon, which allows us to access our brush library. Under the sketching category, I'm going to pick the Procreate pencil. In the upper toolbar, I'm going to go to the color picker and choose the color black for my pencil. With my Apple Pencil, I'm going to draw in a rough square. If you press and hold with your Apple Pencil, it allows you to do a quick shape. If you press and hold on the screen with your finger, it allows me to make a square. Once I have my square, I'm going to rotate it 45 degrees. Once you have your square rotated 45 degrees, here's our diamond. In the upper toolbar, click on the selection tool. Click on the option that says Fit to Canvas, which will enlarge our diamond to fit the canvas. In the upper toolbar, head to your layers. Under the layers, click the plus icon to add a new layer. In the toolbar, I'm going to head to the color picker. And then back in the brush library, under the calligraphy category, I'm going to choose the Monoline brush. Over in the left side panel, I'm going to adjust the size of the brush. The top slider bar allows you to adjust the size. And now on this layer, I'm going to begin drawing random flower shapes on the inside of my diamond. Once I draw my flower shape, I go over to the color picker, click, hold, and drag to drop that color into the flower shape. And in order to do color drop, your shape has to be closed. If there's an open side to your shape, when you try and drag the color in, it'll fill your whole canvas. And I'm going to do each color flower shape on a different layer. So on this layer, I'm just going to draw all of the purple ones, kind of placing them wherever I want them to be. And I'm just doing the flower shape, not the center. I'll do the center on a different layer. So back in the upper toolbar to my layers, I'm going to click on the plus to add a new layer. And so what I'm going to do on this layer is basically put a few different color like small ovals. And now I'm going to put little ovals for the inside of the flowers. And I'm just doing all of the insides all on one layer. And typically what I like to do when I'm doing a seamless repeating pattern is I like to duplicate what I've drawn so far. So in case I have to go back to the beginning, this diamond, I'll have everything that I used to create the start of the pattern. And so what I'm going to do is put layer 2 through layer 7 all in one group. And I've also turned off my diamond layer. So now I'm going to select all of those layers. And to do that, slide right on all of the layers that you want selected. So in this case, I'm going to select layers 2 through 7. And once those are all highlighted, I'm going to head up to the top and click group. And so now Procreate puts all of these layers into one group. And so I'm going to collapse the group, and then I'm going to duplicate the group. So slide left on the group and click on duplicate. So now we have two groups. And with the duplicate copy, I'm going to create the seamless repeating pattern. I turned off the original group and left the top group selected. I tapped on the group to bring up these options. I'm going to flatten the group. So now I just have a single image. And after I get that single image, now I'm going to duplicate this layer 5 times by sliding to the left on the layer and clicking duplicate until I have 5 copies of the single image. And basically what we're going to do is move 4 of these 5 images. You can start with whatever layer you'd like. And what we're going to be doing is moving them to the 4 quadrants of the square. So with the top layer selected, I'm going to head to the upper toolbar and click on the selection tool. And so now we have a selection rectangle around this layer. So down in the bottom toolbar, you want to click on snapping. And you want to make sure that magnetics and snapping are turned on. After you do that, you can begin to move your layer. With that layer selected, I'm going to move it up into the upper left-hand corner until the middle nodes hit the top and side of the square. And you'll know that it did it once the yellow solid horizontal and vertical lines show up. And so then I'm just going to repeat the process with the other 3 layers. I'm going to select the second layer and move that up into the upper right-hand corner, waiting for the middle to snap to the edge and side of the document. And back into my layers, I'm going to pick that third layer and select it with the selection tool and move it to the lower left-hand corner. And now to our final layer, select that layer, click the selection tool, and move that in the lower right-hand corner. So we have our pattern block. You can decide to leave your pattern here, but now I'm going to show you how it looks when I make the pattern smaller. So I went up to my layers and I decided to duplicate the original diamond image because I'm going to take that diamond image as well as the 4 corner images, combine those into a single image. But I still wanted to have an original diamond image as a backup if I needed it. So back in my layers, I'm going to take the diamond image as well as the 4 corner images, and I'm going to pinch and grab them to create a single layer. I'm going to take this square layer and duplicate it 3 more times. So with that top layer selected, I'm going to head to the selection tool and I'm going to shrink it down until it's a width and height of 1024 pixels. I'm going to go back to my layers and pick that second layer and reduce it and shrink it. And then back in my layers, I'm going to pick that third layer and reduce that and shrink it. And that final large square tile, I'm going to take it and shrink it down. So now each of those larger squares are taking up a quarter of this document. And depending on how small you want your pattern to be, you can keep on duplicating these squares and making them smaller. But I usually stop at a quarter of the larger square size. So this concludes the video on how to create a seamless repeating pattern in Procreate. If you found this video helpful, let me know by hitting the like button. Subscribe for more videos like this and hit the bell to be notified when I upload a new video. Remember to check the description box for any resources that may have been mentioned in the video. And as always, thanks for watching.